We're all set to go. I want to put a paint booth up. It's $3.60. 7 minutes, 30 seconds. When I painted my car, I actually used this on the sidewalls, the floor. Damn, that looks good. Woo! Hey guys, welcome back to Fast Monty's Garage. This is part 7B of our series of rebuilding my Pontiac motor. But this is important because in part 7A, where we cleaned the block and masked it for paint, today we're going to put up a paint booth inside the garage and put primer and color down. So I think you're going to love it. Super low cost way to do it. And if you haven't already, subscribe so you can watch me put this motor back together, put it back in the car so we can get rip roaring down the road again, because I miss driving her immensely. So let's get it on. We're back. I already doused this with my degreaser and cleaned everything off. We're all set to go. I want to put a paint booth up because I don't want overspray all over my cabinets, my workbench. I can't wheel this in the backyard. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a paint booth. Same Easy Sheet product. Remember, this one's 12 feet wide. You can get this 16 foot wide, 20 foot wide, 400 feet long. I went around the block with my spray can just to see how far I needed, and I marked corners with tape on the ground. I measured. It's roughly 22 linear feet. I cut 22 feet from the roll, and if you do the math, which is scary, 22 feet of 400 feet is almost 6%, something like that. The roll itself costs $40 at Summit Racing. Say $10 for shipping, $10 for tax, call it $60. 6% of $60 is $3.60. That's how much the booth is going to cost. Oh, sorry, and the tape too when I tape it to the ceiling. Now let's see how long it takes, shall we? Okay, I'm starting my timer. "11 minutes, 30 seconds. Not too bad. If I was getting $100 an hour, I wish, that would be a whopping $20. Add that to our cost. $20 plus $3, $25. That's with labor. So, materials only, $5. Inventory, with shipping, $75. Wow. And you can do this over and over and over again. When I painted my car, I actually used this on the sidewalls, the floor, and some of the roof area. And then the back wall I used a thicker material, and I used it like 4 times. To do all the primers, base, clear, everything. So that being said, highly recommend it. I'm gonna go ahead and tack down everything, and then I can start spraying. So we have 2 light coats and 1 medium wet coat. The other beauty of using the Easy Sheet is when you spray it, you can test your tack. So when it gets tacky, that's when you can put your second coat on. So I'm gonna get to it, and I followed my own advice. I finally got a new one. Aren't you proud of me? Here we go. I did 3 coats of primer. That's what we got. So now we're going to use our Restoration Colors Pontiac blue paint, and the key here is to do light coats. So after this first light coat, I'm going to show you up close what a light coat should look like. Give you a good idea. So let's get started. So here's a great example of what a light coat is. So this is the blue tape we put on the front. This is gray primer I didn't touch really with the spraying. So this whole area, as you can see, it's just a little bit of blue, but you can still see a lot of primer through it. That's a light coat. That's what you should be doing. So we're going to do that 3 or 4 more times, and you'll see how it pops. Okay, this is after 2 coats. You can still see some gray through there. And that's what you want. You want really light coats. So I would say 2 more coats and it'll look really sharp. And the purpose of doing this is that since there's metallic flake in this paint, you kind of want, they call it floating it on. So if you douse it, the metallic in the paint isn't going to stand up correctly. So if you just lightly put it on, it should stand up better and give some more reflection. That's after 3 coats. So you can tell the color's starting to pop. And if I turn the light on the camera, now you can kind of see. That's with the light on the camera, so it's shining directly on it. You can see the metallic popping. This is relatively dry. So I'm going to do 1 more coat. Hey, that came out great. This paint booth worked magically. Not bad for under 10 bucks, right? So I had laid 3 coats of primer, 4 coats of base coat, and look, you can see all the dust that accumulated on the plastic. And what helps with that is when the plastic comes off the roll, it actually has like a static cling to it, so the dust sticks to the plastic. It's awesome. I'm going to give it a few more minutes, and then we're going to peel off the masking so we can take the paint off of the deck, right? Because I said that earlier, we're going to scrape it off the razor blade. And we'll go from there. Be right back. It's always good to take your masking off before the paint completely dries, because you don't want it to flake the paint off. I had to go get a razor blade because I want to start taking these layers off. Pretty awesome. Okay, I'm going to take our masking off the top of the head surface. If you remember, we put blue tape and then green tape and then the plastic film. So I'm going to start with the blue tape, and that should just take everything off. And I don't care how rough this edge is, because we're going to scrape it off anyway, right? So we're going to take the razor blade and just scrape any paint edge off, because we just want a flat surface when we put our heads on. Just like that. Always nice to have it before it fully cures. And you can take your finger along the edge. And that's exactly what I want to see. I don't feel, you can see color, but you can't actually feel an edge. That's exactly what I want. So I'm going to go around the whole edge, and we'll call it good. Damn, that looks good. Woo! Thanks for being here, guys. I hope you learned a lot today. Obviously, I couldn't resist. I had to put the heads on to see how it looked. Perfect, right? Ah, wow. $10 paint booth. Showed you how to do some quick masking using Easy Sheet. I only have a couple more things to paint, which is the timing chain cover and the water pump. I'm not going to film that, don't worry. But if you missed it, go check out the head painting and see how I masked. I'm going to do the same trick on here. And until next time, subscribe if you haven't, because I want to put this thing back together. We're getting so close. And I'll see you next time. Building fast, driving faster.